What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the studio where the sound of sports is heard. This is not a video I plan to make. This was not on the schedule. I don't typically like to do this type of video. Now, before we get started, if you don't know me, I am an Eagles fan. I'm an all-around Philly fan. I'm from Philly. So this video is going to be dedicated to the Philadelphia Eagles. Like I said, I don't typically do this type of video. If you want to check out my other content, I do weekly power rankings. I talk about the NBA and playoff predictions and all that other stuff. If that more interests you, please go check that out. But today I am talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and their Week 1 and Week 2 struggles. And I want to talk about one specific player, and that's Carson Wentz. And if you know me personally, I am a massive Wentz fan. Massive. He is probably my favorite player to ever hit the field, the football field. I've grown such an attachment to him, and it's so difficult. Every time I see him make a bad play, I always have some sort of justification. I always have his back, essentially. My sister comes and tells me, and she says, Why do you always defend Wentz? It's not like he ever pays you. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm just that much attached to him. I'm just a Wentz fanboy. So this is a difficult video for me to make because I'm ready to admit that maybe Wentz is not as good as we thought he was. Maybe he's not. And maybe he's just peaked in 2017. And maybe after his ACL tear, he just can't get back to that form. Or maybe it was a fluke. And I'm ready to admit that. Because since then, we have seen regression. We have seen inconsistencies. We have seen rookie mistakes in year 5. Rookie mistakes. We have seen stuff you expect from Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert in year 5 of Carson Wentz's career. So, understand how difficult this is for me to admit. I'm the guy to always make excuses for Wentz. I'm the guy who just a few weeks ago put Carson Wentz at number 8 in my top 10 quarterback ranking. I'm the guy who made several videos saying how bad Dak Prescott is just to prove that Carson Wentz is better. I try not to show my bias, but sometimes it just slips. For example, last week, I picked the LA Rams to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. Looking back on that, I had no logical reason besides being biased. Outside of that, I try to stay pretty unbiased, but sometimes my lust for Philadelphia sports takes over my logic. But back to Carson Wentz. Before making this video, I did some research, and I was trying to find the last time Carson Wentz beat a good team. And I was looking. I was like, the Philadelphia Eagles made the playoffs last season. So where did we lose? Okay, we lost to the Miami Dolphins. That's a team that we were supposed to beat. We lost to the Seahawks. Unfortunately, I was at that game. We lost to the Patriots. Okay, so we didn't beat any good teams. Oh, week 3 of last season, a year ago from today, is the last time the Philadelphia Eagles beat a good team. And that was the Green Bay Packers. That was the last time Carson Wentz beat a good team. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not acceptable. The Philadelphia Eagles made the playoffs last year because our last 4 games were against arguably the worst teams in the league. The New York Giants and the Washington football team, or at the time the Washington Redskins, both had top 10 picks in the NFL draft, And those are the teams we beat to somehow slip in the playoffs at 9-7. So I'm looking, and I can't find the last time Carson Wentz had a good game against a good team. And that brings us to today. against the LA Rams, where he threw one of the worst interceptions at one of the worst timings I've ever seen. Unacceptable. The Eagles were climbing back. That drive, the Eagles were getting momentum and momentum and momentum, and he tries to be Mr. Big Shot and hit Arcega-Whiteside in the end zone, and it backfired. Threw it into double coverage, and it got picked. And this isn't the first time we've seen this. So, I start to question, is Carson Wentz not as good as we thought he was? I start to question, if this keeps up, is there a consideration he's not on the team next year? And my answer to each one of those questions was yes. I think by week 5, if we can't find a way, if the Philadelphia can't find a way to beat the Cincinnati Bengals or the decimated 49ers, or can't find a way to match up against the great defense of Pittsburgh Steelers, I think there should be consideration to bench Wentz. Again, this pains me to say it, but it's the reality. This is a business. The football teams are business. And when your quarterback is consistently regressing and you're paying him $125 million, and it's not like he's losing to great teams like Kansas City or Baltimore, he's losing to Washington football team, and he's playing against Cincinnati next week. And the following week, Philadelphia caught a break, and we're playing against a team without Jimmy Garoppolo. And if Carson Wentz can't manage to have a winning record past week 5, I think the Philadelphia Eagles should definitely have some consideration to start Jalen Hurts or Nate Sudfeld. Because Carson Wentz just simply isn't improving. This could be a massive turning point for the Eagles. And don't even get me started on the coaching staff. I think the coaching staff is in even higher jeopardy than Carson Wentz. They're in an even deeper situation than Wentz is right now. Because if Doug Peterson can't get his play calling together, if he can't write up some more creative plays and some screens, Doug Peterson is going to be fired this summer. Mark my words. If Doug Peterson can't manage to get us to the playoffs, he's going to be fired this year. If Carson Wentz can't manage to give us a winning record, he might be benched this year. Because we have seen regression and regression and regression from both the coaching staff and Carson Wentz. And it pains me to say it, but it might just be time to move on if they cannot prove themselves here in 2020. I don't typically do these lectures. If you enjoy this type of style of video, please let me know in the comments down below. If you didn't like this style of video, I have plenty of other content. I have power rankings coming out later this week. I have my Fiery 4 videos coming out later this week as well. So if you are more interested in that content, make sure you stick around, and I'll have plenty of videos coming out later this week. Thank you guys so much for watching my Sound of Sports video here. And as usual, have a good one.